start on by doing the right thing. I want to celebrate the founders, Dr. Augustine and Dr. Jane Onwumere. I want to celebrate our excellent chairman, Dr. Afamefuna Okonkwo, the co-chairman, Dr. Frederick Okbaje, the acting group managing director, Dr. Julius Oyedemi, all the amazing GEDs. Permit me not to mention you one by one. Of course, all the managing directors, executive directors, and everyone on this platform. Thank you for being a part of this incredible move of God. The concept of dominion is taken from, and I wanted to mention a comment or two because it's important you understand why Madam President has also declared for the P1 group our year of all-round dominion. It's important we quickly mention a few things so that you don't undermine or disregard that truth. In Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26, I'm reading from the King James Version. The Bible says, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness." Note that, and God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Let us make man in our image, number one, after our likeness, number two, and as a result of those two, they will have dominion. It's absolutely important we don't miss this because scriptural truths are always more profound than many realize. And then it goes ahead to say to have dominion over every sphere of creation, on the land, under the land, in the waters, in the air, above, everywhere. Dominion by reason of two things: the image of God and the likeness of God. I believe that those two things are the game-changing truths that we need to understand, and thankfully, my presentation to you today speaks to that. And I'm so sure that this is the portion of everyone in the entire P1 group family. Now, what does the image of God stands for? I'll try not to make this too expansive because of my slide presentation that I will show to you in a moment. Let us make man in our image. What does image mean? The image of God represents the wisdom and the capacity of God. When God says, let us make man in our image, it's talking about two things condensed into one. If you do an etymological study, if you do a root word study, it means the wisdom and capacity of God. The wisdom and capacity of God. That's what it means. It means the wisdom and capacity of God. That's what it means. Then, of course, the likeness of God refers to the character and nature of God. It refers to the character and nature of God. When you put those two together, you see that when you have the wisdom and capacity, and that talks about creative capacity, rational capacity, governing capacity, when you combine that with the likeness of God, which refers to the character and nature of God, his righteousness and holiness, his loving nature, his sense of justice and equity and holiness. When you put that together, nothing is impossible to be dominated. So God said to mankind, to P1 group, and that's our focus this year, that as we walk with the wisdom and capacity of God, the creative capacity, the rational capacity, the governing capacity, when we mix that with the likeness of God, which speaks to his character and nature, that talks about his sense of love and justice and righteousness, those two combined, nothing will be impossible to be subdued. So friends, welcome one more time on behalf of our great leaders of this great organization to our year of all-round dominion, where we will dominate every sphere, every strata, every city, every nation, every continent we go to by the capacity and wisdom of God we carry, and by the likeness and character, by the nature of God inside of us. This year, we shall dominate in Jesus' precious name. Amen and amen. That said, may I please request permission to share? I think I've been given that permission already. Thank you so much. and I'm going to be sharing my slides. If not everybody, I would like MC the Great to please confirm that you can see my slides is showing. Is it showing?
Yes, sir. Yes, I can see it. Fresh starts to Dominion 2016. 26,
okay,
I beg
very good.
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right. Now, this is the topic I was assigned to speak to. And I love it. I love it. Thank you again, Madam President, and to your media director, Mr. Dayo Dubote, you sent to me for the privilege to be here and for this profound topic, because this topic gives us the opportunity to speak very expansively, very deliberately to all the things that I believe is needed in the now to enable us to be able to be all that God has designed for P1 Group to be for this year. And that is a fresh start to Dominion in 2026. And in doing this, we want to scale. We want to scale this business, but very intentionally with strategy, with structure and systems. We want to move P1 from where it is right now to a bigger, better, more stable, more impactful, position. In order to do that, we want to be able to engage the force and the spirit of dominion as we believe God very deliberately to scale with strategy, with structure and systems. I want to beg you all to give me undivided attention, because listen, whether you work in the P1 group or in any other place you work as a family person, in your local churches or organizations, I want you to know that what I'm about to share is something nobody can do without. Especially if you want to be big, humongous like the P1 group is today. It's something you cannot escape. You can't escape, because scaling happens with strategy, happens with structure, and happens with systems. One of the truths about life that is very welcoming, that's very comforting, is that anything you want to do, anything you want to be, many people have been already. Many people have scaled their organizations to become the global movement it is. Many are still doing that. And so the pathway, the standards are pretty set. Apart from some adaptations here and there, depending on the season and the industry, and all of those specifics, the generic principles and practices are the same. But I have particularly taken out time to structure this teaching or presentation to fall exactly in line with the P1 group. Because remember, I am a part of this group. I am a privileged part of this group, and I'm excited to be a part of this group. And I'm not one of those who give up because of the temporary challenge. Because the challenge some people have is that they make permanent decisions on the basis of a temporary challenge. What we are going through is a temporary challenge, and I know it will soon be over. I know it will soon be over. We've been praying, the leaders have been working, and I know heaven has heard us. So 2026 is going to deliver a different outcome altogether in Jesus' mighty name. All right, let me start with my opening remarks as I make a call to a fresh start. Distinguished leaders, partners, staff, and members of the P1 Group family, I believe that in this defining moment, we are gathered not merely for the turning of a calendar year, but the opening of a fresh chapter. I believe this. I want to thank the chairman and the co-chairman who spoke earlier. You spoke my mind powerfully, but I'm just going to give flesh to what you said. All right, if you follow me. This is not just a new calendar year, but it's a fresh chapter, a fresh start that will produce dominion in 2026. So it's not just about starting again from zero. We are not starting from zero because we already have a huge organization. Rather, here's what we want to do in 2026, which I'm trusting the Lord to help us do in 2026, is that we want to start like this year with clarity, with capacity, and with conviction. That's what we're trying to do. Okay? Because in real estate, in the real estate subsector of any business domain, dominion is not accidental. We cannot attain, and sustain dominion accidentally. It is built deliberately through vision, through land acquisition that we are experts at, through the concept of trust, through the practice of governance, through the establishment and running of systems, through the enhancing and training and valuing of people, and the practice of the discipline of execution. You see, the organizations that scale in any field, in any industry, in any system, in any climate, I beg your pardon, sustainably, are always those that align these three things. They align these three things. The first is strategy, the second is structure, and the third is systems. All right? You know, today, I think it was today, Madam President, the global president, posted on the platform of the directors, you know, the systems they aren't used to be what they have, what they build, to do what they do, and they achieve. The ants are, you know, when the Bible says, Proverbs 6 is, go to the ants, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. You know what God is saying? God is saying, if you study the ants and you study the system the ants use to replicate massive mounds or hills, what is called ant hills, you know, quietly, silently, sustainably, repeatedly. He said, go and learn systems. Go and learn systems. Go and learn systems, because the things that work well work with systems. And that's why I'm so excited about what I'm about to share with you. So our focus today is on how P1 Group can scale with intentional design and institutional strength. Can I please repeat that? Our focus today is on how P1 Group can scale with intentionality in design and institutional strength. All right? See, the scripture says, every house is built by someone, but God is the builder of everything. Put another way, when you talk about systems, when you talk about development, when you talk about establishment, God is a master of that. And just look at this grand, vast universe, this grand piece of real estate called the earth. He said, God is the builder of it all. So in the same way as we build intentionally like him, in whose image and likeness we operate, we can build like God, walking in partnership with God. And I believe that that's going to be our portion this year in Jesus' precious name. All right, let's get into it one by one. So let's understand dominion in the corporate and real estate context. What will dominion look like at the end of this year? What will dominion look like at the end of this year for the P1 Group? Number one, it will mean for us as a group, market leadership without compromise of values. We are already the leaders. We are the first, the strongest, the biggest real estate network marketing company in the world. But dominion sustainably must mean leadership without compromise of values. Number two, it must mean influence without chaos. Influence without chaos, whereby we do any and everything rationally, legally, intensively to avoid chaos. It also means growth without loss of control. That's what real estate dominion will mean for us at the end of this year. It also means very significantly, take a look at this fourth point, expansion without dilution of culture. Expansion without the dilution of culture. Okay, so in real estate, dominion shows up as strategic land banking. That's how it shows up. That's what we do already. You know, we go to fast developing, future developing area. We're already experts. But it must build up also by a strong brand trust. I know so many things have been done to assail our brand, but listen, I am positive like you are. Listen, my friend, I am positive like you are that we are recovering the brand trust that we have been known for. Because like you all know, there was never an intention. Thank you, Dr. Frederick Okmaje, for breaking it down, earlier on today. The truth of the matter is that everything is being done. That is why many of us still connect. Many of us are still associated, because there's a deliberateness to restore, to recover our strong brand trust. But it also means replicable estate development models. Many of our estates have already been built, and we want to replicate that across the nation. It also means operational excellence across regions, and also means predictable revenue and scalable teams. That's what dominion will mean for us as the P1 group, beginning this year, as we take up the P1 group to a whole new dimension of experience and outcome. And I know, like me, you believe it will come to pass in the precious name of Jesus Christ. In this teaching, I'm going to be sharing with us how through strategy, structure, and systems we must permit my usage. I know it should be Madam President or the chairman that should be saying that, but permit my usage. We don't have an option. We don't have an option. We must dominate. There is no second chance. There is no second option. It's only one option. As a group, we must dominate by wisdom. We must dominate by strategy, by systems, and by structure. That's where we are going to. And I want you to get ready for the ride. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be glorious. P1 has seen some great times. I need you to know that what is ahead is bigger than what is behind. I know that to be a fact. The Bible says, through wisdom, a house is built, a business is built, a family is built, and by understanding it is established by knowledge. The rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. That's Proverbs chapter 24, verses 3 to 4. All right, it means that dominion is wisdom-driven growth. Dominion is growth driven by wisdom. That's what dominion is all about. All right? So before I get into the strategy, structure, and systems, let us deal with the mindset for 2026. Distinguished leaders, ladies, and gentlemen, this is 2026. 2025 is gone with its achievement and setbacks. For 2026 is a new plate, it's a new platform, it's a new opportunity. And I am persuaded that this year, something new is about to happen. And so we must enter 2026 with a new mindset. If you allow the challenges of the old to hold you back, if you allow the issues of the old to hold you back, you see yourself saying, Happy New Year, but living in an old expired year. 2025 is gone and gone forever. It's a new year. It's a new start. The Bible says the mercies of God are new every day. So in this new year, get ready. And what the first thing to do, a few things, just two things I want to talk about is, number one, we've got to let go of growth bottlenecks. We must let go of all the bottlenecks, hindrances, all the obstructions that will prevent us from scaling. And to do that, the first thing is to understand that for we to scale externally, we must reset internally. This is not just for the group board or the founders. This is for every MD. Every MD that believes that tomorrow is bigger, not just today. Any MD that doesn't just want to eat today and forget tomorrow. Any MD that wants to possess tomorrow, that want to be bigger, stronger, and more globalized tomorrow. There are things we must do, because to scale externally, we must reset internally. We must, number one, letting go of growth bottlenecks. Because a fresh start, my dear friends, will require the courage to confront at least four things. The courage to confront at least four things. Number one, informal decision. Informal decision making in a growing organization. Decisions must be objective, not subjective. Decisions must be formal, not informal. That is to say, it must be standardized. It must be something that any and everybody knows that this is it, that's the way it goes. Because this organization is too big. And guess what? It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. One of the easiest way to reduce us is to make decision making informal. It's got to be standardized. Otherwise, it will not be able to scale successfully. Number two, of course, our founders speak to this always. So I'm not saying something that they are not already saying. The founder dependence instead of institutional strength must be let go. I mean, P1 group is huge. If the Lord tarries, if the Onwumeres are not here, and even all this present crop of GEDs are not here, do we want P1 group to die? No. P1 group is designed to outlive the founders, outlive the leaders. If we want that to happen, this founder dependence must go. It must be built on institutional strength. Listen, my friend, we don't want strong leaders, we want strong institutions. That's how organizations grow. Organizations don't grow because their founders are strong. No, they grow because the institution they build are strong. We must transfer strength to the organization because the organization is bigger than we all. The organization will outlive every one of us. So strength must not be on individuals. Strength and practice must be on the organization. Number three, we must let go heroic efforts that replace reliable processes. No, we don't want flashes in the pan. We don't want occasional outbursts. We want a system that is replicable, that is repeatable, that is duplicable, that is doable by anyone we bring in. We want reliable processes, a process of start to finish where you are sure it's not subject to any other condition. It's subject to the fact that if you follow our process, this is where you end. We don't want heroic efforts replaced. Are we saying no to heroic efforts? No. There can be occasional breakouts and breaking loose and breaking forward and breakthroughs. But that's not how institutions are built. Institutions are not built on occasional heroic efforts, but built on reliable processes. Number four, we must pursue expansion, but not without standardized controls. We must pursue expansion, not without standardized control. You see, the advantage of being big is that you can do many things, but there can be an inherent disadvantage of being big, and that is what you lose control. Some aspects and some people begin to do as they like, when they like, if they like, and how they like. It must not happen. Expansion must happen with standardized control. What we must let go is expansion without standardized control. Remember, what got us here is not good enough to get us to where we are going to. I'm talking about the systems. The systems must expand to the growth so that the systems do not fail us. That's number one. Number two mindset for 2026 is that we must move from hustle to architecture. We are too big to be hustlers. No, we are too big. We control the narrative. We control the momentum. We control the narrative. We control the discussion. We control the pace and the pattern. We don't follow. Others follow us. We are not hustlers. We don't bend to everybody in the industry. We are too big to be bending to small fries who are trying to get our attention. No, to do that is to forget where we are. We design, we implement, we are the standards to go to. We must move from hustle to architecture. What does that mean? He said, because listen, in our early growth, we thrived on hustle. Everybody hustling. But dominion level growth thrives on design. We don't hustle. We are intentional in what we want to achieve. We set the pace. We carve a niche. We blaze the trail. We instigate process. We are the ones they should look to. Every time I look at the P1 group, I just see a group that is too blessed. Too many intelligent people. Too many capable people. Too many anointed people. All in one house. All in one house. All in one house. Like I said, permit my usage. Dominating is not an option for the P1 group. We have all it takes to dominate. So So we must enter this next level of dominion level growth through design. Everything is intentional. We don't react, we lead. We are proactionary and not reactionary. We must envisage the future, own it, design it, and control it in our industry. That's what makes us architects. That's what makes us leaders. So you see, because in the place of hustle, you can build momentum. That's what brought us here. We hustled, we took over, we did all that. Now all kinds of people came into the industry. But going forward, it takes architecture to sustain momentum. 2026 must be a year of intentional corporate architecture. Distinguished leaders, can I please repeat that last line? 2026 must be a year of intentional corporate architecture. And I will tell you what that means. I will tell you what that means as we go ahead. So please flow with me. All right? So that way we can be set for what God has for us. So scaling with strategy is the first of the three we want to talk about. We're scaling with strategy, we're scaling with structure, and we are scaling with systems. All right? What does it mean to scale with strategy? It means we win by design. We lead by design. We prosper by design. That's what strategy really is. So strategy is not an ambition. Neither is strategy activity. It's not activities. It's not plenty run around. There's something all the big guns in this industry do. It's not the one that runs around more that makes more money. No. You can have 100 estates, okay? You as an individual, you can have 100 estates, and somebody with 10 estates will make far more money and far more profit than you. It's not the number of estates. It's not activity. It's not even it. That's where the P1 is right now. We control. We're in charge. Where the one thing you do exceeds the 10 things other people are doing. And they're wondering how. Because you are in charge. That's what is called strategy. Strategy is a clear set of choices about where to play and how to win. Can I repeat that? P1 group, strategy is a clear set of choices about where to play and how to win. Very important. You know, there are a couple of strategic pillars that will help us form our strategy. Okay? Because dominion requires saying no to distractions. Let me show you how we can do these strategic pillars for P1 group. Number one, strategic pillars for P1 group. The first one is clear segmentation. We must have a clear segmentation whereby we determine the next phase to take over. Because our vision, making home ownership dream a reality, aided by our mission, gives us the reasoning space, the latitude of space to be able to come with new dimensions that lead the pace that others will try to follow. Whether it's by retail buying or investors' confidence and involvement with us, or diaspora or African markets, or certain specific aspects that have not been entered in, because Africa is wide. For instance, I do believe that Africa is waiting for the P1 group, and I know we want to, but I do believe that we need to put strategy behind it. We need to put strategy behind it. You know the way things are. By the time that opens up and blows, people's eyes will open and start trying to follow. But we are the leaders. We must start that now by clear segmentation of how we penetrate emerging markets, especially within Africa. Number two is to define geographic priorities. We've got to define geographic priorities. It's important we spread thin, But I mean, it's important we spread, but we must not spread too thin. We must spread deep enough to be strong, because we live in an industry where there are costs associated with what we do. No matter how small, there are costs. And so we've got to define our geographic priorities. It's got to be core, connected to growth. And yes, it must involve frontier markets, but deliberately, so that way is strategic enough to deliver on our expectation. Then, of course, our product clarity. We've done 13 years. This year, March, we will be 14 years. I believe that our product clarity must not take a sharper shape, clearer shape. Residential estates, we need more of that. We need commercial layouts. And we continue to do the land banking we do. We can never leave land banking is a beginning. We must continue land banking. But there must, our product clarity must now emerge and emanate in the dimension of more residential estates, even commercial layouts. I mean, that is one area we have not yet broken into. We are the leaders. We've got to have that intentional takeover, because in that space, there's continuous residual income that never dries up, as opposed to just land banking, which is very, very primary and foundational. All right, that's number one. Number two is the value proposition strategy. The value proposition strategy as part of our strategic pillars, for Dominion, for the P1 group in 2026. P1 must be known clearly. We've got to pursue this like war. Ladies and gentlemen, can I remind us, what we carry is too big. We cannot disappoint God. We cannot disappoint our teeming million customers. We cannot disappoint our generation. So we must be clearly known. I mean, what I'm sharing here is not rocket science. Anybody and everybody knows by now that there are things that stand organizations out. And my joy in association is that I believe in the sincerity of what we are doing. And that is why, because of that sincerity of what we are doing, we must pursue transparency. We must pursue speed of delivery, whereby I saw the P1, the group board already saying, certain things must happen. Once people purchase from us, the speed of delivery must now have a sunset terminal date where it must happen. There must also be legal clarity, things we do and we don't do. And of course, alongside, like we've always done, we must increase our customer education. Then, what about our after-sales engagement? I was in one of the summit sessions where I saw members of the group board led by the group president, insisting, take calls, after-sales engagement. Don't just collect money and close connection. Pursue with intentionality, update, inform. Let the people know what is happening. That way trust increases. That way their trouble reduces. It's important, because in real estate, trust is currency. In real estate, trust is currency. Then the strategic pillar number 3 is our growth strategy. Part of our operations must go with these 3 key things. 3 key things. Look at this, friends. Our growth must be planned and not just opportunistic. What do I mean? It's not every opportunity we seize. It's not every opportunity we seize. It's got to be planned. Planned in the sense that you've got to be ready for it. You've got to have all it takes to turn it around. Because when we own without optimizing, when we purchase without optimizing, we are actually losing our edge. And it's not risk. Progress is not activity. Movement, and motion is not progress. Movement and motion is not progress. It can be a lot of activity, but low performing activity. High performing activity comes with deliberateness or planning, not just seizing any and every opportunity. I love the way Madam President used to put it: good thing, not the finish. Good thing, not the finish. Good thing, not the finish. You don't have to seize every opportunity they open. If it is according to your plan and readiness, go for it. Go for it. But once you are not ready, let it go. Another one is coming. It's better to optimize. It's better to maximize than spread in such a way whereby the impact is not heavy. The second growth strategy is that the way we grow must be replicable and not experimental every time. If we have a model that works, it becomes the pattern. It becomes the model. It becomes replicable or duplicable or repeatable. That's what it is. So if we have found what works, for instance, across the P1 group, there are some practices that work all the time. And there are some practices that don't work at all. We already know. We are too experienced not to know. So here is my question. Why will anybody still be involved in anything that does not work or work well? Why? It makes it challenging. It makes it challenging. There are models that work. Why? Yes. Why we keep expanding the funnel, seeking out new things that work. Why not stay on it? That's what God is calling us to, so that we can expand and consolidate on our dominion. Then, of course, our growth must be funded, not strained. It must be funded, not strained. That's part of the reason why it's not good to start some things premature, because you won't have the funding to make it happen. So that's why it must be planned and not just opportunistic. For instance, the key question in this area is, can this model work in 10 new locations without leadership fatigue? When a leader gets fatigued out of running around trying to catch this little, catch this little, catch this little, catch this little, instead of concentrating on a few big things, then it means that that model is not a good model. It's not a good model. Because guess what? The capacity you have as a leader, many who are coming after you may not even have it. So it's important we show them that this thing is about delivering heavy instead of tiny that do not amount to much sometimes. So the growth strategy must be funded, not strained, because that is one key way to avoid yourself from getting high blood pressure when you still have a long way to go. Number 2, let's talk about scaling with structure. Let's talk about scaling with structure. We talked about scaling with strategy. Let's talk about scaling with structure. And what does that mean? It means to build for strength and not size only. We are building for strength. You say, why do we need strength? Because the journey ahead is tougher, is longer, is bigger, is wilder. So we need strength. We need strength. We need core strength. We need inner strength. You say, why? In life, the winds of adversity will always blow. In life, the challenges of life will always arise. The ability to stand is a question of inner strength. The core of the organization, that structure. All right? If there is size without accompanying structure, that house collapses, and that's not our portion. So this is why structure matters. Structure determines decision speed. When taking a decision is taking forever, there is a problem with structure. Can I repeat that? When taking a decision is taking forever, there is a problem with structure. Because the organization will suffer at some corners. Size requires structure. Structure determines accountability, friends. When we have an organization where some people can do some things and then they go scot-free, or we don't even know, you know what the problem is? Our structure is not built for it yet. It is structure, friends, that take care of accountability. It's structure. It is structure. The structure we have to address matters, because listen, my friend, we are getting bigger. We will get bigger. We are unstoppable. And so the structure for speed of taking decision, the structure for accountability, and the structure for risk exposure must be in place. Whether it's internal auditing system or internal control mechanism, in every bank, there's what they call risk and control. Auditing. There are just some things that can't happen without meaning the minimal risk threshold, without catching some things. The idea of somebody in an organization exposing every one of us. Some of us are trying to do very well, following the instructions given by our founders and the group itself. And some people, no, we can't allow that. We can't allow that. There must be a structure that picks out all the unnecessary risk that can expose every one of us. Then number 4, structure will determine our leadership clarity. Leadership clarity. Structure determines leadership clarity. It cannot be misunderstood. It cannot be misinterpreted. It cannot be misconstrued. Clarity is a function of structure. So the question is, where we are, do we have enough structure that ensures that our speed happens our decisions happens with speed? Accountability happens with speed. Risk exposure is dictated with speed. Leadership clarity is no. If we don't, then we need to build that structure. We need to build that structure. You see, because growth without structure will lead to confusion. While structure without growth will lead to bureaucracy. Did you hear what I just said? Please look at this page. Look at this page. Growth without structure leads to confusion. Why is it confusion? Because people do what they like, how they like, if they like, when they like, knowing that they can go free, they can do, So structure is what stops that. Without structure, growth without structure produces confusion. Meanwhile, structure without growth also leads to bureaucracy. We don't want any of those two. What do we want? Dominion, which requires balance. A balance between structure and growth. As we grow, the structure to manage it must grow. The structure to manage it must grow. There is a place we get to. We have to regionalize our leadership control system. Forget it. We can't. We can. We are in a few nations now. And guess what? We are about to hit all the nations of Africa. We are about to hit all the continents of the world. Which structure is going to manage it? Growth requires structure. So here are some structural shifts for 2026 I want to recommend. And I'm glad I'm speaking to very cerebral people. People who are motivated, people who are enamored, people who believe that there is a glorious future ahead of the P1 group. And I am part of that group. I need you to know that I'm speaking from my heart because I see the future of this group. I see it. I don't see the confusion, I see the future. And because I see the future, I hear clearly. And because I see the future, I believe strongly. So here are some structural shifts required for 2026 I want to recommend. Number 1, there must be clear governance layers. There must be clear governance layers. And in that dimension, there must be the board and group executive oversight, where we meet and oversight the entire operation. I believe where we are already, not to talk of the future, requires subsidiary or regional leadership. I believe it. Because we can't be in Lagos and know what is happening. Even Lagos is too big for one person. That's why in political leadership, there's the governor, there's the House of Assembly, there's the what do you call it? The local government chairman, there are the councillors, all down the line. Why? Without it, we can't get to the roots. We can't. It's not possible. It's not possible. So there's going to be subsidiary or regional leadership. Then we now need to empower strategic, capable, operational management teams that ensure things happen and they scale the result and they scale the report up for the that they are the ones who carry out. Because you see, our structure right now is that all our group executive leaders are also MDs of their own companies. So to provide broad-based oversight is tough for them. As willing as they are, as sincere as they are, it is tough because they have to make things happen. And you already know the demands upon their time. So operational management teams, howsoever, needs to emerge. Number 2, or before we go to number 2, each level must know what decisions, each level of these 3 must know what decisions they own. What is our decisions? Then each of those levels must, what decisions can they escalate? That is, what decisions can we take on our own? What decisions must go? And guess what? Every of this level must have a matrix, okay, that they are accountable for. What are they going to report for? You know what that means? If the organization fails, we can come to the group board and say, group board, you are responsible why we failed. Yes, we say group board, the reason we failed is because the group board did not do its job. Because the group board has the capacity to set up the institution, the systems down the line to make things happen. Because the buck stops at the table of the leader. The decisions ends at the table of the leader. It's what the leader permits that the others do. And what the leaders do not permit, they do not sanction, they do not watch, they do not allow. How they do that is that they create this multi-level to make things happen. So we need a structure so that everyone knows what metrics they are accountable for. If anything fails, it's failure of internal auditing, it's failure of legal and regulation, it's failure of oversight, it's failure of regional managers, it's failure of a director. We've got to know who is responsible, because as a growing organization, people must begin to take responsibility. Because if nobody takes responsibility, then everybody is at fault. And of course, we know everybody cannot be at fault. So that clarity must not sound out stronger. Why? We are going bigger and bigger and bigger. Look at the number of people we have and the many attitudes and issues we have to manage. The bigger we get, the worse it will get. That's just the nature of human beings. And that's why our systems, our strategy, and our structure must scale up to match up the growth. Match up the growth. Now, the structural shift we need, number two. There must be role clarity over title inflation. Inflation. For instance, I'm talking to my friends and my leaders here. They are both my friends and they are also my leaders in this group. So I speak with knowledge and with respect and honor. Okay, Dominion organizations must prioritize the following. Clear JDs. The JD must be clear. And everybody stick to their role. Number two, there must be defined authority limits. We've got to define it. We are too big. And getting bigger for there not to be clarity. For instance, if as a member, as a participant, if I want some things done, can I ask a sincere question? If I want some things done, do I know who to go to? And does that person have the true authority to make it happen? If not, then we are not yet defined. Madam Vera is introduced as Chairman International. If I want to open an international center, if I go to Madam Vera, does she have the authority? Does she have the permission? Does she have the time? Does she have all it takes? Does she have the team? If I go to the acting group managing director and I say this, does he have the time? Does he have the systems? Does he have the structure to follow it through and answer back? So the JDs have got to be stronger and steeper. And whatever stops any person in an office from performing, we have to look at it. Because we must have role clarity. Titles are good, but performance is better. Performance-linked roles. What is the job of our global president? What is the job of our group chairman? What is the job of our co-chairman? What is the job of the GED sales? What is the job of the GED marketing? What is the job? Is it performing along the line? Is that person reporting? Can we measure performance? Now you take it down to the MDs and the executive directors and those of us who have roles as chairmen, so that we don't occupy positions we are not performing. Performance-linked roles. There must be a clear system where the structure demands that if you occupy an office, you must perform. If you are not performing, we give you 6 months, 1 year to drop. Let somebody else come in. Why? We don't hate anybody. This organization is not about who we hate, who we love. It's about the organization excelling. It's about the organization excelling. That's what it's all about. So role clarity over title inflation. If everyone is a director, but no one owns outcomes, dominion leaks. Dominion leaks. Dominion leaks. Dominion leaks. Because what makes you a director? It means that you are responsible for the failure or success of the organization. It means according to law, according to corporate governance, according to Supreme Court decisions, if the organization fail, carry all the directors. They are the reason it fails. So if the directors are not capable, what are they? What are they? We've got to own outcomes. If everyone who wants to take that position is coming in, we've got to own it. There is no option about it. That is what makes everybody sit up. Because you carry power to do and power, and I beg your pardon, you also carry the responsibility when you do not do. And then we won't allow things fly anyhow. The oversight will be stronger. The commitment will be better. So that we are not carrying titles that does not carry enough power. It's very important. Very important. But no one owns outcomes, then dominion will leak. Structural shift number 3 that we need. We must practice decentralization with effective controls. I believe it, friends. I believe it, friends. That's the only way not to grow gray hair. That's the only way not to die before your time. Because guess what? Guess what, leaders? Guess what, leaders? Leaders, please guess what? God forbid that you die. If you die, we will mourn you for 30 days and the business will continue like you never lived. We will continue. We will continue. We will mourn you. We will be unhappy that you passed on, but the business will not die because somebody died or left. The business will continue. That is why to deliver ourselves from unnecessary high blood pressure, can we practice what is a global standard? Decentralization, but with control. It's not decentralization without control, no. Nobody does that. So there must be regional autonomy must exist within standardized rules. Rules set by the group executive board. Rules that are monitored. Not just rules for the sake of mount, that has a periodic standardized monitoring strategy that report back with complete auditing, complete legal report, complete everything, so that we can sense and see infractions early enough and nip it in the bud. So it has nothing to do with who, it has everything to do with what, the standards. So there must be same reporting templates, same approval thresholds, same compliance standards according to the levels of the person. Same. So what we are busy doing is creating templates, approving thresholds, putting compliance standards in place. That is the only way we can have peace. By the way, remember where I started from. Dominion is the wisdom and capacity of God. And dominion, that's talking about the image. The image of God is wisdom and capacity. The likeness of God is the character and nature of God. God created an earth, and he has been on holiday ever since. Why? He put systems in place. 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 He's not under any pressure. Our God does not have high blood pressure because of 8 billion people behaving or misbehaving. Systems take care of everybody. So regional autonomy must exist within standardized rules. Will people misbehave? I have news for you. Get ready. They will misbehave. Will some MDs misbehave? I have news for you. Guess what? They will misbehave. But is that the reason we won't put rules? No. Rules will take care of them. Sanctions will take care of them. Systems will take care of them. And we don't have to be running helter-skelter. That's what we need to put in place. And before you know it, everything straightens up. So there's got to be decentralization with control. You see, there must be freedom, but within a framework. That's how it works. There must be freedom to work, but the freedom is within a framework. And what is that framework? Can I go back to it and show you again? reporting templates. Reporting templates. What you must report, when you must report, how you must report, who monitors the report, who checks out for signs. Threshold. That's the freedom. What is the threshold you can permit, you can sign, you can allow, you can build? Who monitors? Who reports it? Then what is the compliance standard with standardization? We have a real estate guy in Nigeria. I won't mention his name. We know the person. He was building houses, and houses started collapsing and killing people. Who is our compliance standard person? Who is the one that ensures that somebody is not cutting corner to cause a confusion from one small corner that will affect a global brand like our own? Who is our compliance officer? Who monitors so that one person's misbehavior does not affect every one of us? We are too big. We are too great to allow one person misbehaving to affect all of us. It needs to stop. So that way we can have decentralization, but with firm control. Let's go to the last, and I'm almost wrapping up. Bear with me, saints or friends. Scaling with systems. Remember, we talked about strategy. We've talked about structure. Let's end with systems. What is systems? What do we mean? Is that ability to turn vision into repeatable results. That's what I'm talking about. What Madam President, her husband have started, and her husband have started. How do we, with them or without them? If we say Madam President is retiring and she's watching from the flank side, and we don't have to pull out of retirement to come and do fire brigade. Fire brigade, always coming out, fire brigade, fire brigade, fire brigade. Then we've got to turn the vision into a repeatable system. Because without this, she can't retire. Without this, the group executive board cannot retire, cannot sleep in peace. MDs cannot sleep in peace. So we've got to turn vision into repeatable results. It is only when we do that true dominion is achieved. Global dominion is achieved. You just see us, we are in this place because the system is in place. We are hearing that it has exploded in Tanzania. It has exploded in Gabon. It has exploded in Botswana. It has exploded in Malawi. It has exploded in Ivory Coast. It has exploded. Why? How? It is not you running it. It's the system running. It's the system running. Because everything is systematized. It's systematized. Nobody is developing gray hair because it is exploding. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a product, we have a vision given by the benevolent God to P1 that can never expire. As long as there are human beings, as long as this world is alive, the vision of P1 can't expire. I'm sure you know that better than I do. There is no end to this vision. There is no place we cannot succeed. All we need is the system to take over. That will not put anybody in trouble, and will run effortlessly, efficiently, consistently, continuously with growth and great operations, systems. And I know we have capable individuals in this organization with enough gray matter, with enough cerebral capacity to design those systems and make sure it works and we explode. So we've got to scale with systems by turning vision into repeatable results. Because systems is the engine of dominion. Can I repeat that? Systems is the engine of dominion. System will allow for consistency across locations. Consistency across locations. Consistency. Consistency is a company. We are not a confederation where people can do how they like, if they don't like. No. If we're a confederation, let's know. Unless that's the dimension Madam President and the group board is taking us, fine. We go that dimension. But until that, I'm speaking to one company by the name of P1. There's going to be reduced dependence on individuals. Our system must not run on people. P1 group is old enough to see how many people have come and gone. People come and go. I love the way somebody said it earlier. It's like a barrack. Soldier come, soldier go, but the barracks is always full. And you know why? Because we don't build on people. We build on systems. So that, can I put it this way? Please hear me and please bear with me. It doesn't matter who leaves. It doesn't matter who leaves us. The organization gets stronger and bigger because it has nothing to do with the person. It has everything to do with systems. Systems. That way there will be faster onboarding. When people join us, the process is defined. The steps are clear. The management is in place. The timing is in place. He has nothing to do with who you go and say, good morning, sir. I'm here, sir. So that we remove psychophancy, we remove bootlicking, we remove all of those things. Once you know it, you follow it, you get your result. It's predictable outcomes. That's systems. That's how we make it happen. That's systems. Because vision decides where you are going, but systems decide whether you arrive. Vision decides where you are going. Systems will decide whether you arrive, including how you arrive, when you arrive, and all of that. So here are some critical systems for P1 Group as I wrap up. Number one is the sales and customer management systems. I believe time has come when this board needs a strong, centralized customer relationship management teams and policies. Centralized, whereby each subsidiary understands what to do, but there's a centralized customer relationship management where red flags can be flagged immediately, and there's a centralized response that calls that subsidiary and says, what's going on? This is the report we are getting. Why are you not doing it? You know our policy as a group. We give you X number of time, fix it so that we don't come and intervene. We need that centralized CROM because it's obvious that we are too big now to allow people just have their way. Every big organization has it. Every big organization. Number two, we've got to have lead tracking and conversion analytics. We've got to have a way where we can now analyze systems, softwares. There are all kinds of things that can do that, where we track and then we also see how the leads that we convert to sales. We've got to have some analytics so that we can have to know what works. And not to a degree we can just off the cuff without analysis tell what works. But in a place of deeper analysis, we can get deeper insight. Then of course, we now have to put together a customer life cycle management, because we still have a situation in many places where some people sell and that's the end. Because you know what PBOs do? Thank God they are our best in this industry. For many PBOs, they don't understand the customer life cycle management. Even some companies. So we need to work on the customer life cycle management. We got to work on it so that way we sustain customers for life. Because this transforms sales from personality driven to process driven. It's not about, thank God for persons who will drive it, but we become successful sustainably over a long period of time. And guess what? All across the nations of the world. Because what we did in Nigeria, we need to quickly do in other countries. It is not true. Can I say something? It is not true. If anybody says that person is not correct, it is not true that it is only in Nigeria P1 can succeed. We can succeed in East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, Central Africa, North Africa, Oceania, Australia, America, Europe. We can succeed everywhere. But to do that, we need a system that transforms sales from persons, because one person cannot be everywhere, to process driven. The moment we institutionalize that, the rest, as they say, becomes history. Number two, our land acquisition and due diligence systems, so that we don't have this challenge anymore. It's one thing for the group board to say all companies, this is what you must do, this is what you must do. But who verifies? Who verifies? If I choose to do a quick sharp one because I want some quick money that can put the whole group in trouble, who verifies? What's the verification process? Who verifies? What's the verification process? So title verification, is there truly being verified? Who is in charge of risk assessment? Then as an organization, I believe we need to visit our PESTLE, P-E-S-T-L-E. We need to visit our PESTLE methodology and ask and answer the question, who is in charge of government liaison? Who is in charge of government liaison? Who tells us when to talk to government, how to talk to government, how to work with government, how to have government deal with us as partners in progress, as responsible corporate citizens, not as opposers, but as friends. Who is in charge? Who carries that authority to do that? Then who is in charge of what I call documentation archiving? Who archives documentation? Who is in charge? Who archives our documentation? Does anybody have the right to just archive their documentation? What is the process? Because remember, we are using only one name. The name is P1. That name is P1. Who is in charge of documentation archiving? It's so important. You see, because Dominion protects assets before it markets them. Dominion protects assets before it markets them. Dominion must protect assets before it markets them. Number 3, our financial and reporting systems. Do we have a real-time financial dashboard that at a glance, the group board or Madam President or the group GED Finance can tell what's going on? Is there cash flow monitoring? Can we spend as we like, if we like, when we like, how we like? Is there a project-based accounting system for projects that are carried out? Is it okay for one person to deliver in 1.5, another person deliver at 2.5, another person deliver at 3.5? What's going on? What's going on? Who loses? Is it okay? Is it okay for me to deliver 1.5, another person 2.5, another person 3.5 billion? Is it okay? Do we have project-based accounting? Is there a threshold that gives a little room for flexibility, but this absurd room is nipped in the bud? If we want to be an organization where people don't come and say, oh, sharp practice is allowed, let me go in, make my own and burn out and burn the bridge behind me, then we can let it go. Otherwise, there's got to be project-based accounting, because this is an institution that is going somewhere. Because what cannot be measured cannot be governed. Group board, what cannot be measured cannot be governed. What cannot be measured cannot be governed. Number 4, people and performance systems. What is the structured recruitment pipelines? Do we have a blockade in our recruitment pipeline? What is the process? What are our standard operating procedures? How does it happen? Do we have a training academy? Is the academy funded? Is the academy operational? Are the people leading it aware of their outcomes? Do they have KPI-driven evaluations? Who handles it? Who monitors it? Who sanctions it? Who rewards it? Who celebrates it? Who hires? Who fires? Then succession planning. Do we have a succession planning system? Is succession based on what? What is succession based on? What is a succession planning based on? Is it based on the one I like, the person I like, or is based on something else? What is it based on? What are the global best practices for succession in a humongous organization like ours? God forbid, if the group board sits tomorrow and say MD this, MD that have to drop, who takes over? Is there a succession mechanism in place and all of that? All right? Because Dominion companies grow leaders intentionally. We've got to be intentional in that. I'm almost wrapping up. Please bear with me as I wrap up with this final one. Leadership culture for Dominion 2026. The kind of leaders required for 2026 will demand strategic thinkers, system builders, ethical decision makers, coaches, not controllers. Coaches, not controller. What you call a sage by this, what do you call it? Not a sage on the stage, but a guide by the side. Can I repeat that? What we need is not stages or sages on the stage, but guides by the side. We need coaches, not controllers. We need coaches, not controllers. Of course, titles create authority, but character will sustain that authority. Just 2 more and I'm done. Cultural anchors for P1 Group. These are cultural anchors that we must project. Integrity. We prefer integrity to speed. We want you to make more money, but we prefer integrity. If you are going to make more money and put all of us in trouble, we don't want that kind of money. We have to determine that. We don't want more money, we want integrity. Because we all suffer for lack of integrity. Yes, make money, but at integrity. Excellence over shortcuts. We don't rush things because we must do things well. Accountability over excuses. No more excuses. Collaboration over working in silos. We don't want individual stars. We want collaboration. Why? Culture is the invisible system that governs behavior when no one is watching. Of course, here's an execution, for instance, turning today into a results kind of framework, 90 to 180 to 365 days. First 90 days, something we can think about: strategy, clarity, role definition, system audits. The next 180 days, system implementation, leadership training, standardization, rollout. So that in 365 days of 1 year, we scale into new territories, we have performance optimization, and we have institutional maturity. We can do this. We have what it takes. But dominion is a journey, not an event. Dominion is a journey, not an event. Of course, here's my closing charge. I'm done. Here's my closing charge. Here's a summary of all that I've said. If you forget everything, remember this. From fresh start to lasting dominion, P1 group stands at the threshold of greater influence. In Jesus' name, I say to that. We stand at the threshold of greater influence, greater impact, and greater responsibility. What does that mean? A fresh start to dominion 2020 means three things at the minimum: that our strategy is clear, our structure is strong, and our systems are scalable. That's what it means. Our strategy is clear, our structure is strong. No matter how we grow, we have a structure that can carry it, and our systems are scalable. Here is a scripture that supports that. Isaiah 54 verse 2. Notice two things God said here. Enlarge the place of your tent, that is grow. But he said, don't just grow without strengthening your stakes. As you grow, strengthen your stakes. Why? If you grow and your stakes are not strength, when winds come, everything collapses. Enlarge the group, but strengthen your stakes. Strengthen your stakes. And of course, let us not merely expand, let us establish. Let us not merely grow, let us govern well. Let us not chase success, let us build dominion. Thank you, and God bless you.